Hello young minds, welcome to another session of Allforce e-learning program. Now in this session, let us take up the applications of the electric field due to a solid conducting, charged conducting sphere. Solid sphere, right? So let us take up the applications. In the earlier session, we have deduced the formula for the sphere, charged sphere. The formula for the charged conducting sphere, whenever a conducting sphere, solid sphere, when it is given charge migrates to the extremities. Charge always moves to the extremities of the conductor. Charge resides only on the surface of the conductor, right? No charge inside. So all the charge appears here. So the electric field at any point outside. So the electric field is, we have derived the formula as 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by, if the distance of the point is r, q by r square. Right, on the outside point it is q by r square, and right at the outside point, on the surface point here, the electric field on the surface is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it's q by capital R square. Well, the distance of the point is equal to radius of the sphere. At a point P here, it is on the outside point, it is like this. On the surface point, it is like this. At an inside point, the electric field at any inside point is 0. At the center, electric field at the center is 0. Right? So, the electric field due to this, of course, for any charge, electric field at intensity, at infinity will be 0. Electric field intensity at infinity is always 0. Now, if I draw a graph for it, if I represent a graph, the graphical representation showing the variation of the electric field due to a charged conducting sphere, conducting charge sphere, electric field variation with distance r. Graphical representation. You see, at the center here, that is corresponding to the origin, center there corresponding to the origin, the electric field here at the origin, at the center, here 0. From 0 to the surface, the electric field is 0. So from here to here, from this origin to this point, the electric field is 0. Electric field remains 0. No field inside, right? No net field inside. On the surface, the electric field here is q by r, 4 pi epsilon q by r square. It is maximum value. So on the surface, it is maximum here. The value, it is correspondingly, it is here, and this on the surface is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Right? This limit corresponds to 1 by 4 epsilon q by r square. It is maximum here. Now from this point, from this here, outside, as you move away from the sphere, now it becomes an outside sphere, outside point. For the outside point, the electric field varies inverse to the square of the distance. It obeys inverse square law. So outside point, it obeys inverse square law. So the graph is a steep curve, inverse r square curve, steep curve like this. Now it touches the r axis at infinity. It is an asymptote. It doesn't touch here. It will touch this. It gets closer and closer. It will touch the axis at infinity. So for a conducting charged sphere, the electric field variation with distance, the electric field varies as like this. From r to, for all the values r less than r, it is 0. Here r is equal to r, it is maximum, and beyond r greater than capital R, the field is reducing, decreasing as inverse square law. It obeys inverse square law. So the graphical representation of variation of electric field with distance is like this. Okay, right. Later, now comparing this electric field with the electric field of a point charge. Comparing the electric field of this conducting sphere with the electric field due to point charge. You see, electric field due to this conducting sphere E, 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r square at a distance r. You know, even for a point charge. Suppose if I imagine a point charge here. Let there be a point charge capital R. At a distance r from it here, at a distance r from it. What is the electric field? We have deduced a formula for the electric field due to point charge. The electric field due to point charge E is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. By Coulomb's law, force experienced by unit positive charge. Electric field intensity is force experienced by unit positive charge. Imagine a 1 coulomb positive charge here. Then force on it, according to Coulomb's law, force is 1 by 4 naught q1 q2 by r square. So 1 by 4 naught q into 1 by r square. Now comparing these equations, the electric field due to point charge is same as the electric field due to a spherical conducting charged sphere. Conducting charged sphere, both the formulas are same. In the sense, this conducting charged sphere is behaving as a point charge. This is called shell theorem. Shell theorem number 1. Shell theorem, first shell theorem. According to shell theorem, whenever a charge is given to a conducting sphere charge, then the charge resides on the surface. Then the electric field at any point outside. When a charged sphere interacts with, right? Suppose if I imagine a conducting charged sphere, charge resides on the outer surface. Now imagine another charge small q at the outside point. Let the distance from here to here be small r. Then the force of attraction between these both, right? Condition is that the distance is so far that due to this there is no charge being induced. Then there is no induction of charge, right? Imagining no induction of charge. Then the force of interaction between them will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q small q by r square. Right? So this charge capital Q behaves as if all the charge is at its center, and it behaves as the force between 2 point charges. So according to the shell theorem, when a charged conducting sphere interacts with a point charge outside itself, outside its surface, then it behaves as if all the charge on the sphere is concentrated at its center, and it behaves like a point charge. So all the charge that is residing on the surface, it seems as if all the charge on the surface is concentrated at the center of the sphere. Right? There is a condition. There is no charge influence of, there is no charge induction of the charge due to this on this. When there is no induction effect, then if the uniform charge distribution on this remains symmetrically spherical, it is symmetrical, then this will behave as a point charge. So when a conducting charged sphere interacts with a point charge outside its surface, right, without any change in its charge distribution, the condition when a charged conducting sphere interacts with a point charge outside its surface without any change in its charge distribution, then it behaves like a point charge. It behaves as if all the charge on the surface is concentrated at its center, called the center of charge. Then we can simply apply Coulomb's law, force between 2 point charges, 1 by 4 naught q by r square, q by r square. So when a conducting charged sphere interacts with a point charge outside its surface without any change in its charge distribution, there must not be any change in its charge distribution, then it behaves as if all the charge on the surface is concentrated at its center. Then you can imagine this as a point charge, this as a point charge, apply Coulomb's law. This is shell theorem number 1, first shell theorem. Well, next one, coming to the electric field inside. When you take the electric field at the inside point, the electric field inside is 0. Now considering second theorem number 2, for a conducting charged spherical shell, conducting charged sphere, whether it is solid sphere also it does not matter, because all the charge will reside on the surface. Charge is residing on the surface uniformly on the extremities. Now, if I consider a point inside, and at that point if I consider a point charge small q, charge on the sphere is capital Q, charge on the point charge is, I am imagining a point charge inside the spherical shell small q. Then, now if a conducting charged sphere contains a point charge inside the sphere, then this sphere exerts no force on this sphere on the point charge, because inside the sphere we have found the electric field is 0. At any point inside it is 0. So therefore force on this point charge, force on small q is also 0. If a point charge exists inside a conducting sphere, then the spherical conducting charged sphere shows no interaction. It exerts no force on the point charge which is inside the sphere. There is no force exerted on the point charge that is inside. Now this is the second shell theorem, right? If a point charge exists inside a conducting charged sphere, then this conducting sphere exerts no force on this point charge. So the point charge experiences no force when it is inside the conducting charged sphere, because there the field is 0, so the force is also 0. So these are the two important theorems which you have to remember for your exams. Okay. Well, so this is regarding the electric field due to a conducting sphere. Suppose if you further take some higher applications, let us consider a conducting charged sphere. A conducting charged sphere of charge, let us say small q, q1, and the radius is a. Over this conducting charged sphere, I am imagining a hollow spherical shell. There is another hollow spherical shell, charged hollow spherical shell, right, which is also uniformly charged. It is also uniformly charged with, let us say, q2, and the radius is b. Now he is asking to find the electric field due to this combination concentric spheres, right? The inside, this is a conducting charged sphere. This is a conducting sphere. Charged conducting sphere it is, and this is a hollow spherical shell. This is a spherical shell. Now he is asking to find the combination. For this combination, what would be the electric field at various points, at different points. Now the conducting charged sphere, charge conducting sphere is having a charge q1. The charge on this is q1. The charge on the spherical shell is q2. The radius of the conducting sphere is small a. Radius of the spherical shell is small b. Now he is asking to find the electric field at various points. One is infinite point outside. The other one is outside point P, which is at a distance d, suppose. Second point. Third, the electric field on the surface. He may ask you to find the electric field on the surface. Fourth, a point in between these two spheres. Point here in between these two spheres at a distance r. Next, another point on the surface of the inner sphere, and finally the field inside and center. Let us name these points. This is point 1, this is point 2, this is point 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7. We are asked to find the electric field at these. He will be asking to find the electric field at any of the points. So I am putting it all together in a one single entity like this, right? So he may ask you to find the electric field at any point. So for all such things, what would be the field? Let us write down the things carefully, right? Look. Well, we know the electric field at infinite point due to any charge is 0. because the lines of force, when they go to infinity, they spread apart, the number of lines of force per unit area would be 0, right? At infinity, electric field. So electric field at infinite point due to any charge is 0. It is not a issue there, not a question, right? Simple thing, you just remember, for any charge, field at infinity 0 there, okay? Now coming to the outside point P, outside point P. Now please concentrate. The point P is at a distance d from the center, the common center of both the spheres. The distance of the point is d here, right? Now I have to find the electric field at this point. Imagine a Gaussian surface. Well, let us go by the method. Imagine a Gaussian surface. So you know Gaussian surface should be symmetrical. Since both the charges are spherical, I have given you the chart. For a spherical charge, you have to imagine a Gaussian surface, spherical Gaussian surface, where the electric field will be radially outward. So at this point, the electric field is radially outward. Right? Okay. So electric field, I am imagining Gaussian surface such that it passes to the point P. It's passing to the point P there, right? Then the direction of the electric field is E outside. Now the total flux, again imagine a small element, so small flux will be E dot ds, we all know. So the total flux, I was writing the points there. Total flux through this Gaussian surface, E into 4 pi, the radius of the Gaussian surface is d, 4 pi d square, is equal to, we know according to the mathematical formula, you know, integral E dot ds is equal to q inside by epsilon naught. So E is the electric field and it is symmetrical, the charge, symmetrical Gaussian surface. Electric field at all the points is same. So area, total area of this Gaussian surface is 4 pi d square. Now is equal to the charge inside. Now the total charge inside, there is a conducting charged sphere and there is a spherical shell. Charge on the conducting sphere is Q1, charge on the spherical shell is Q2. So the total charge is Q1 plus Q2 by epsilon naught. So getting this down, the electric field at this point P. So the electric field at the point P, you can write it as field at point P, EP is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it's Q1 plus Q2 by d square. This is the formula for that. At the outside point, you can even find this directly also. First, what is the electric field at this point P? You know, I was telling you, when you are asked to find the electric field due to many charges and many charged bodies in the vicinity, then the resultant electric field, according to the principle of superposition, it is the vector sum of all the electric fields. You can even apply that method also. So here, first what will be the electric field due to this conducting sphere? Electric field due to the conducting sphere, E. Electric field due to the conducting sphere, CS. Now, a conducting sphere, whenever you take a point outside, it behaves as if all the charge is concentrated at the center. So charge is here, distance is d. We know for a conducting sphere at the outside point, the field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Charge on the conducting sphere by the distance of the point square. It obeys inverse square law. Well, similarly, the electric field due to the spherical shell, electric field due to spherical shell. Even for this also, the outside point, the formula is same, 4 pi epsilon naught, but the charge is Q2, it is Q2 by d square. Now, both the electric fields will be radially outward. So, for a conducting spherical shell, the field is in this direction. Even for a shell also, conducting sphere and spherical shell, both the fields are in same direction. Since both are in same direction, you can add them. Then the resultant electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, Q1 by d square, Q2 by d square. So, together it is Q1 plus Q2 by d square. So, you can either find by Gauss law or you can even do it by the electric field, considering the electric field due to each charge, add them vectorially by the principle of superposition. So, electric field at the outside point is 1 by 4 epsilon Q1 Q2 by d square and the direction is radially outward. Right, first point. Now coming to the second point, what is the electric field at the point on the surface point of the conducting sphere, surface point of the spherical shell? Here he is asking the third point. What would be the electric field at this point? So electric field on the surface of the shell, on the surface of the spherical shell. Again, you can do by two methods, either applying Gauss law or by considering both the fields, add both, right? So therefore electric field, again at this point you have to take the field due to the spherical shell and field due to the conducting sphere. Now the field for this spherical shell, the point lies on the surface. So field due to the spherical shell on the surface, it is its charge Q2 by the distance, its radius. The radius of the spherical shell is given as B by B square. Now the electric field due to, at this point, electric field due to the conducting sphere. You know, at any outside point, I was telling you, it behaves as if all the charges concentrate at the center. Field due to this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by B square. Charge is Q1, distance of the point outside. For this conducting sphere, the point is outside, right? So for the outside point, it is like this. At the on the surface point of the sphere, there spherical shell. First, you have to find the electric field due to the spherical shell. Field due to spherical shell 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Its charge Q2 by distance square. Distance is its radius B, so it's B square. Now here again the direction is radially outward. Field due to the conducting sphere inside. Now forget the spherical shell. Take only the conducting sphere. Then for this it is the outside point. We have deduced the formula. For the outside point, the electric field is 1 by 4 naught. Charge on it, distance from the center. Distance from the center is equal to the radius of this, that is B. And the charge on it is Q1. Even the direction is again radially out. Both are in same direction. So the total electric field is the sum of these two. Again, taking 1 by 4 epsilon, 1 by 4 epsilon common there. If I consider, take the things common, then 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught common, field due to the conducting sphere inside, its charge Q1 by B square plus field due to the spherical shell, its charge Q2 by B square. Well, the LCM is B square. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by B square on the surface of the spherical shell. Outside point distance D, so Q1 Q2 by D square. Now the surface is at a distance B, the radius of the shell, so it is Q1 Q2 by B square. Well, coming to the point inside here, fourth point, which is at a distance small r, right? So I have to find the electric field at this point, at inside point here, at inside point. What is the electric field? Let's find the electric field. Now, when you apply Gauss law, right? According to Gauss law, imagine a Gaussian surface inside. Let me imagine a Gaussian surface like this. So this is the Gaussian surface at inside point. Passing through the point, symmetrical Gaussian surface. You know, I have to imagine a symmetrical Gaussian surface. Passing through that point there. Passing through the point, through this point. Is it? Now the total electric field, let the electric field at that point be E inside, right, at this point. Then distance of the point is R. So the radius of the Gaussian surface is smaller. So the area of the Gaussian surface is 4 pi R square. So the total flux from the Gaussian surface by definition flux is E dot ds. Right, on the sphere at all the points, the electric field is same, E into ds. Ds is the surface area, 4 pi r square. But you know, according to Gauss law, the total flux is charge enclosed inside by epsilon naught. You know, for this Gaussian surface, the charge enclosed inside is Q1. The charge inside this Gaussian surface is only Q1. This spherical shell is outside the Gaussian surface. You know, according to Gauss law, suppose there are charges like this, some charges. Our Gaussian surface is, this is our Gaussian surface. Q1, Q2 and Q3, this is Q4, Q5. Then the flux emerging from this Gaussian surface, it is equal to the charge that is enclosed inside, only inside charges. Outside charges produce no flux with respect to the Gaussian surface. Charges existing outside the Gaussian surface, they have no flux, net flux that is being contained by this Gaussian surface. So therefore, the flux is only due to the inside charges. Here, our Gaussian surface is this one, which is inside the spherical shell. So spherical shell is outside, this charge is outside. Due to this spherical shell, there is no flux pertaining to it. So there is no flux through the Gaussian surface due to spherical shell. So spherical shell has got no contribution. Only the Gaussian surface, inside the Gaussian surface you have got a conducting solid sphere. Conducting charged solid sphere. So the charge inside is only Q1. So it is charge inside is Q1 by epsilon naught. So taking this here, the electric field inside is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R square. Direction again radially outward. Any point you consider, it will be radially outward. So the electric field at inside point here, fourth point, this is fourth point. This is first point, this is second point, this is third point, and this is the fourth point. So in the diagram, this is the fourth point. So fourth. Right, this even you can find this by considering individual this thing also. So the field at this point, but you know, I was telling you, when you consider Gauss law, when Gauss law is, I was stating the Gauss law, electric field at any point here, field at this point is due to all the charges in the vicinity. Suppose if this is Q1, it is Q2, it is Q3, it is Q4 and Q5. Field here E is due to all the charges in the vicinity, all the 5 charges into ds, total flux through it. So field due to all the charges. So I was writing electric field due to 1 plus electric field due to 2 plus electric field due to 3 plus electric field due to 4 plus electric field due to 5 dot ds, total flux. The total flux due to all the 5 charges. Let the field due to Q1 be E1, E2, this is E3, E4, E5. Field due to all the 5 charges dot ds is equal to, but when you measure the charge, the flux due to from the Gaussian surface is only due to the charges that are inside, that is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 by epsilon naught. This was a base, very good important point which I was discussing then when I was teaching Gauss law. So here if I consider, if I apply this, here the field is due to both this as well as this. So the resultant field due to both conducting sphere and field due to spherical shell, both is E4, field at this point E4. But when I apply Gauss law, charge inside, I have to consider only the inside charges when you are applying the charge. So the charge inside this is only Q1 by epsilon into 4 pi epsilon. So therefore, you can even deduce this by considering individually the electric fields. Here, field due to the conducting sphere, field due to the conducting sphere, field due to conducting sphere. It is outside point of the conducting sphere, so it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon, charge Q1 by distance of the point, that is R square, plus the field due to the spherical shell. Well, this point is inside the spherical shell. We have learned for a spherical shell, there is no field inside the spherical shell, no charge inside, field 0. So field due to the spherical shell is 0. So the total field due to a spherical shell is 0. So the total electric field at fourth point, point 4, adding both, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R square. Simple. Right? So you can deduce it by 2 methods, by considering it as by considering the Gaussian surface, or by taking the resultant field due to both the things. Next, the fifth point, it is on the surface of the conducting charge sphere, inner sphere. Fifth point, the electric field due to the inner sphere on the surface of the inner conducting charged sphere. At this point, what is the electric field? Let's suppose we are finding the electric field at fifth point. This is the fifth point. On the surface of the conducting sphere, fifth point, right? This is fourth, this is fifth. Again, you can apply Gauss law, or you can apply by taking individually the electric fields. Now at this point, what will be the electric field due to the conducting sphere? First, it is electric field due to conducting sphere plus electric field due to spherical shell, vector sum of these both according to principle of superposition. Well, electric field due to conducting sphere. For this conducting sphere, the point lies on the surface. We have deduced the formula. The electric field due to the conducting sphere on the surface is charge on the sphere by its radius. Distance of the point is IA. So it's Q1 by A square. So electric field due to conducting sphere 1 by 4 epsilon Q1 by A square. Now the electric field due to spherical shell. Electric field due to the spherical shell. Now this fifth point is inside the spherical shell. Inside the spherical shell, field is 0. So field due to spherical shell is 0. So the total field, adding both, total field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's Q1 by A square. The electric field due to the combination of a spherical shell and a conducting sphere on the surface of the conducting sphere here, the field is due to the conducting sphere here, and the value is 1 by 4 epsilon Q1 by A square. Field due to this is 0 because it is inside point to this here. Next, sixth point, field inside. Now the sixth point is inside both the spherical shell and the conducting sphere. We know at the inside point it is 0. At the center is also inside both the spheres, so therefore the field inside is also 0. So for these 7 points, first at infinity it is 0. At outside point, total charge by d square. On the surface of the shell, total charge by b square. In between the two spheres, it is charge due to only conducting sphere by distance square. On the surface of the spherical shell, Q1 by A square. And at inside point at all the points it is 0. At any point inside the spherical shell is 0. Right? So this way you can find the electric field due to the combination of the things. Thank you.